The masters should support and protect the Theosophical Society. The master has replied a very caustic reply within a letter, in the form of a letter of 5 sentences. The master said, we never begged you to start any Theosophical Society for us. Remember, it was you, the people, who wanted to start a society. And we were never diffident that spiritualism will be forgotten by the human beings of this earth. We were never bothered, forgotten by the human beings, if we do not make an industry of a society and a business advertisement of spiritualism. Another situation, AP Senate has written another letter to one of the masters that the Theosophical Society is not successful in attracting many common people into spiritual life, and requested the master that one of the masters should expose themselves to the modern world and show some miracles in a city like New York or London, so that masses gather and come as members of the Theosophical Society. Then the answer is as follows. Let your Theosophical Society go to dogs than to make a jugglery table of the science of spiritualism, than to make a table of necromancy of spiritual science. That is the reply given, and signature is Kudhumi Lal Singh. You will find all these letters published in a book called The Mahatma Letters, edited by AP Senate, because the same Senate was purified and he worked with pure motives to the same masters. Similarly, let it be Theosophical Society or Arcane School or some World Teacher Trust. They are only like pages in a calendar to serve the purpose of the spiritual facility to humanity. And just as the page in the calendar is torn off when the month is, each religion and each organization will be torn away from the face of the earth. But just as the year continues, even though the calendar is torn away, humanity continues and the spiritual science continues, and there will be the members of the spiritual science, the students of the spiritual science who receive the benefit of spiritual evolution, and in their turn they begin to help others just as the masters were helping. Finally, I will give you an example, a single example of their wisdom and the depth of the dimension of a new science which has been forgotten through centuries and again given by the masters in the 20th century. That is what is called the science of correspondences in nature, which includes many, many secrets that are to be known by man. For example, if we make a study of the earth globe, you will find a correspondence of the properties with the properties of the tissues of your physical body. There is a north pole and a south pole to the earth, and linking these two poles, there is what we call the axis of rotation of our earth that has all the correspondences with the rod which is there at your back, the vertebral column. Yes, the master is one step ahead. That's good, that's good. Whatever there is in the North Pole is there as its seed principle in your cerebral center. And whatever activity is going on in the South Pole, the same activity is going on in your coccyx. And if you make a sectional study of each part of the axis of the earth, you will find correspondences between every vertebra in your vertebral column and each part of the axis of the earth, you will find that the races existing and the different sections on the globe of this earth will have a relationship with a part of your vertebral column, and your individual consciousness is peculiarly linked up with that particular race of humanity, just as the banyan tree is linked up with a banyan seed at a distance. This is altogether a new dimension of science. A science which was thoroughly worked out in the past millenniums of human history by the ancient Indians, Egyptians and Chaldeans, and forgotten by the man of the modern centuries. It was practiced up to such a perfect degree of perfection that each scientist was meditating upon the various parts of his vertebral column and slowly establishing a link with that particular race which corresponds, and gradually began to travel mentally to that particular part of the globe. When he went into a room and closed himself in the room, closed his eyes and meditated in the particular spot of his vertebral column, the atoms of his physical body disappeared into space and reappeared upon that particular spot where he meditated. And in a non-scientific language, the man disappeared at this place and once again physically reappeared in the second place. Same development of the science of correspondences has been predicted by Madame Blavatsky in her later writings. 1875, the state of science was in such a way that the scientist was a slave of matter. That is, he never believed in anything which was not shown on the material plane. That was the ignorance of the scientist in 1875. In 1975, the scientist is a master of space. So, from the stage of a slave of matter to a stage of a master of space, the scientist has grown through 1 century, and in 2075, man will be physically broadcast through space. These are the 3 points given by Madame Blavatsky, given in 1875 in her writings. So, according to the science of correspondences, we will see travelers and passengers who go to a station of radiation, and radioactive platforms and stations will be established where we purchase the ticket not from a person but from a machine, open a cabin where our name is reserved, just as our seat has been reserved in the train now, and close the cabin, and our body will be disintegrated into the atoms and space and formed immediately at New York or London in a cabin where we can know how to open the cabin and come out to the station. This is what has been predicted by Madame Blavatsky about the scientific development of the 21st century when she was teaching a few sentences about the science of correspondences. So we have the correspondence of the earth from North Pole to South Pole between our head center and coccyx. To re-establish this once again, they have given us a science of the earth, and they have made us known 2 main centers on this earth. One is called the head center of the earth globe, and the other is called the heart center of this earth globe. The head center is located in the North Pole, and the heart center is located in the geometrical center of our earth. And a group of intelligences are working at the head center, another group of intelligences are working at the heart center of our earth, and these intelligences belong to the planetary intelligences of our earth. and they are not individuals. And these planetary intelligences have a peculiar way of contacting us because of their activity. The evolution of this earth is going on, and our bodies are fabricated according to the plan of these planetary intelligences. And gradually a teaching is being conducted so that we may know what activity is going on in our head center and what is going on in our heart center. Because we are so poor and ignorant about the science of man that we know only the anatomy of the head and heart, and we do not know anything of the science of the flesh and blood of our centers. That is science. The vital activity of the centers is not at all known. The activity of the vital centers is not at all known till now. A knowledge is being given to us so that we grow aware of this new science of correspondences and establish our own relationships with the head center of the earth and heart center of the earth. The guiding intelligence of the head center of this earth is called Sanat Kumara, and the guiding intelligence of the heart center of our earth is called Maitreya. And under the intelligence of Sanat Kumara, who is not a person but who is a potency, like the magnetism in a magnet, under Sanat Kumara, a group of workers are working. Under Maitreya, another group of workers are working. And when one day we are recruited we are asked to specialize in any one of these two centers, and we will be trained through births and rebirths to establish relationship between the personal center and the planetary center. This is the scale of work going on, and the masters of wisdom, they form a link between us and the planetary intelligences. It is for this end they are working, and the concept of perfect humanity is in their view. And whatever training is given to any one of us will lead us through a few steps into the plan of the planet. And beyond this, we can't understand what they are doing unless they accept us into their institution. Once again, I thank you all for the opportunity you have given me, and it is an ocean of wisdom, and it requires many lectures for us to speak about a sampling work of the masters. Once again, after some time, let us speak a few more words about the sciences of the masters. Now let us try to understand the science of correspondences. And there are 7 subsidiary sciences to this particular science. And there are people and departments working as professors and specialists on the 7 subjects. For example, the science of healing and the science of the planetary and solar consciousnesses. And I am very glad to see the incident that one of my brothers and co-workers has started a new consciousness in the name of International Planetary Synthesis. And I expect many brothers and co-workers starting many seed groups so that communications can be established from various angles, and individuals get trained to use the communications for the work of the mankind, humanity. Thank you all. Religions should exist because they work as elementary schools for spiritual training, for us to receive the discipline and training before we prove our fitness to join as the students of the colleges and universities of the masters. And The masters are not against establishing any religion. I only pointed out that they never established any religion. They allow us to establish any institute that is conducive to the discipline, and they shower their blessing and grace and wisdom through any institution we start for ourselves without partiality. But they remember the limitations of the institutions because they remember the limitations of the psychology of the ordinary human beings. And when we inaugurate institutions, they bless us, they give their acceptance. When we discuss and quarrel among ourselves, they wait until we stop to quarrel and then repeat their message. And when we tear off or ruin the institutions we have established, they do not feel sorry because once again they bless us and they shower their grace upon us because we can establish one more institution once again. That is their attitude for all these religions. Unless there is sectarianism, the mind of the lower human being will never develop. Just as the chicken in the egg will not survive in the liquid state until it becomes a chick without the help of the shell of the egg. But when once the chick is formed, the same shell works as egg in the form of the space globe, where we find our existence as a bigger chicken. All these facts the masters know. They allow us and permit us to establish religion. They accept and bless us, and they shower their grace and wisdom upon us. But they are not sorry whenever we fail, nor do they take any interest in establishing any institution. That is what I meant. The lower end of our, what do we call it? South Pole. Geometrical center of the earth globe.
Yes, and where is it?
In the center. In the center of the earth, equator, in the depths of the equator, if you draw coordinates from the various points of the circle of the equator, and draw the line of the axis of the earth, the point where these lines meet is the geometrical center of the earth.